Hi Virgo, welcome to your January 2024 Astro Tarotscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. But if you're only going to watch one, remember to make sure it's for your ascendant. It's going to be the most accurate for you on that day-to-day level. Remember, I use whole sign tropical Western astrology, for those of you that would like to know. And you know, the reason we say that your ascendant is going to be the most accurate is because it represents how you take your path through the world. Now, that being said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's pop these to the side. The first transit that I want to look at for you is Mars, the planet of action, energy, passion, excitation, is coming into the sign of Capricorn, which is where Mars is exalted. Mars does good work in this space, right? If you think of Mars as a soldier, when he's in the sign of Capricorn, he's got orders that he knows how to follow, that he is good at seeing through to completion. So that's your first card out. All right, so now in terms of moving into the sign of Capricorn, this is you, Virgo, and so Capricorn is your fifth house, right? Pleasure, romance, sex, hobbies even. This is a great time to embark on some kind of exercise regime, especially if you can do it with like a group of other people who are just as focused and as dedicated as you. It's a great energy for that. Now, Mars being exalted in Capricorn, your resolve to see things through right now is absolutely incredible. All of us are in some way, shape or form. What I love about this is that your sex life could be getting a wonderful boost. Who doesn't like that? Listen, honey, mine is DOA. I'm not even going to get into it, right? If you have children, do watch out for clashes of opinion and thought with them. That's a possibility. Mars also is the ruler of your 8th house and your 3rd house, which means this could be a time where the conversive sphere of your life could take on a deeper yet somehow more light-hearted approach. You could approach really heavy subjects, but in a way that's lighter and easier to unpack in some regards. So that could be great. Now you've got the Judgment card. You have the 9 of Pentacles. Oh yes. And the Ace of Cups. How you give yourself pleasure, how you allow yourself to experience pleasure, how you understand and process what pleasure is to you and for you, and how you give those things is really what's being highlighted here. The Judgment card with the 9 of Pentacles is going to see you really start to initiate, or effectively you're being called by Mars to, you know, this is the call to action, the Judgment card, but Mars is in Capricorn, and it's really building that energy to say, when are you going to love yourself that much more? When are you going to start to enjoy and find pleasure in your own life? That's what you're being asked for here. And you know, with these cards, the Judgment card with the 9 of Pentacles, it's a call to action to start really enjoying the finer things of life. 9 of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups, you're asked to really consider what it is that you love, what makes you feel, what makes your heart race, what makes you feel a bit giddy, what makes you want to run around like an idiot. I don't know if anybody else does this, but full disclosure here, sometimes I run around screaming things out at the top of my lungs that are just ridiculous because I find it fucking hilarious. Everybody's a little bit weird. Some of us are a lot weird. Thank you. Right, so that's on the 4th of the month. Mars is going to come into the sign of Capricorn. Now on the 8th of January, Mercury, your ruling planet, is in the sign of Sagittarius, is going to square. It's about 24 degrees. It's going to come into a square with Neptune in the sign of Pisces in your relationship sector. So the Sagittarius energy is your home, family, property, real estate, where you live, how you live there, who you live with. Pisces is your relationships, your partnerships, your collaborations, your significant one-to-one connections, whether they be personal, professional or platonic. big stuff coming up for review now. And because they're coming into a square with each other, these things are facing off. So if you're introducing somebody new to the family at this time, it might not go according to plan. It could also be that you have plans with your significant other that come up against some kind of friction with the family, or vice versa. It could be that you've got a work expectation and, you know, maybe your family are unhappy about it. Either which way, because Mercury is communication and it's coming into a square with Neptune, which is nebulous at worst and deceitful at the very worst, this could be some kind of, like, you might not be understanding things as best you possibly can because Mercury is not in great shape in Sagittarius, right? So whilst Neptune is strong in Pisces, Mercury is not strong in Sagittarius. So do watch out for this. This is a home, family and living situation that comes up against some kind of problem within a commitment or a relationship. The 7th is, as I say, is all of those connections, right? So it could show up as someone you introduce to the family that, like I said, it doesn't really go according to plan. It could be as well that maybe you're really nervous and everybody else is really nervous, and so it just comes across as everybody being either super weird or super awkward. If you are introducing somebody new, remember, everybody is, I don't care how brave you are, meeting new people for the first time, especially when you know something's riding on it for somebody that you care about, it's a really scary process. So give each other and yourself grace. All right. So for this, you've got the Ace of Swords. So this is possibly going to be a work thing, right? You've got this with the Knight of Swords. Okay. And you've got this with the World card. For those of you that are having job interviews at this time, I'm just going to tell you straight up, you might come across as either super weird, super pushy, or super aggressive. So if you're not, read the room. Right now, I'm calling the transit window at this from the 6th to the 10th because the transit comes exact on the 8th. The 2 days before, the day of, and the 2 days after is the transit window. Okay. If you're in an interview situation and you've got, you know, let's say you've just come from home where you've had a stonking row with somebody that you live in, and now you've got to go into this interview. Take a breath, take a moment, let all of that dissolve and wash off of you before you go into the interview. If you have a stonking argument with somebody at work or with a partnership or a collaboration or whatever, and it doesn't go according to plan, wash that off before you come home and interact with everybody that you live with, right? You got to find a way to decompress here, because the Ace of Swords with the Knight of Swords, you might come across as really aggressive in an interview situation or a meeting situation where you're introducing people, right? And that World card, it could get a little bigger than you want it to very quickly, so just be careful here. All right, now on the 21st of the month, Pluto, the Lord of transformation and transformation, power, you know, secrets, control, all of that heavy stuff is coming into your 6th house. Now, as Leo ascendant, I am just wrapping up Pluto moving through the 6th house. And I can tell you the tail end of it, you've got about 20 years before you get there, but the tail end of it has been no fucking picnic. I'm just going to tell you straight up. How is your health, right? Pluto coming into the 6th is not an easy energy. So you do need to look after your physical health and vitality. This is going to show you likely what areas of that are potentially going to really need to be paid attention to. Here's the really interesting thing as well. Pluto is flaking skin, right? So patches of flaking skin, peeling stuff, right? All of that kind of stuff is actually very Plutonian. Like you're shedding in a way that you never have before. This can be both internally and externally, and one of the ways that this could show up, because the 6th house is your work, your routines, your daily grind, your maintenance of your body, your maintenance of your home, all of the stuff that you care about, that you value in the 2nd house. Your 6th house is what you have to do to maintain those things, right? And because this is an energy of power and control and the hidden and, you know, and the depths of everything, this will come into review in the days ahead, especially when it comes to your work and your colleagues and your employees if you have them. What really spoke to me here is Pluto's going to start to show you where you've neglected your health, if you have. It's also, at the time of this as well, I forgot to mention, it's conjunct the sun. right? So Pluto comes into the sign of Aquarius, but it comes in with the sun. So this is a pretty big deal. At this time, if you've got, because the sixth house can be enemies and people that are challenges or burdens to you, whatever those are likely to be highlighted to you around the 21st of the month. Like right as that Pluto enters into the sign of Aquarius, it comes in with the sun card, so you could see straight away this is what's going to be a burden. It might be what's been a burden on your health. You might see that and be like, wow, you know, I've been doing this for a really long time and didn't even realize it was a problem to me. For this, you've got the sun card, but you have protection, darling, right? Look at this with the Four of Wands. What? And the Two of Cups. That's lovely. So for a select few of you, this could be some kind of partnership or some kind of romance or, you know, connection where you meet somebody in your local area. If you're single and looking, this is beautiful because it suggests that you meet somebody who embodies the sun in a very local place, right? Especially if you've had problems finding a significant other, or if you've been what feels like eternally single and all of that kind of stuff, this could go a long way to changing it. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you find happiness and joy and laughter and love and reverence and enjoyment and pleasure in the small moments with your partner. What beautiful cards. You really couldn't ask for anything more. I also like this as well for the potential of turning either a competitor or an enemy through the work sphere into a fan. All right, listen, we'll take it. And then finally, as if that wasn't enough, we have Venus on the 23rd of January moving into the sign of Capricorn, where now Mercury will be as well. So your ruling energy comes into the sign of Capricorn, which is that fifth house. This is a party, okay? Like this is all three personal planets, including your ruling planet in the fifth house. This is social time. This is, I mean, look, if you're not having fun and trying to be more sociable at this time, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You need to get your proverbial ish together, right? Whatever you are doing, Venus rules your money and possessions, especially because she rules your second house of finances, resources, money, your personal values and possessions. And she also rules your belief house and belief structure and the things that you really invest in. It's also the future vision. Not only is this fun, but it's like you might be learning something at the moment that feels like a breeze. You could be having a lot of fun. It could be really flirty. Conversations are just feeling great. Everything's flowing really nicely, especially around teachers and people that you look up to, or maybe even mentors, coaches, gurus, etc. It is possible that there could be some kind of favor being shone on you by somebody who could really be a very, you know, a big vital support for you in some regard. So totally here for that as well. For this, you've got the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Five of Wands. Okay, so look, it's going to be a highly sociable time for you. I really do think so. This is a lot of fun. It's a lot of pleasure, a lot of leisure, a lot of enjoyment, a lot of sex. This with the Two of Pentacles as well. You might actually start thinking about ways to do with groups, group endeavors, maybe even friendship ties or even romantic ties to make more money. You might be having a lot of fun really looking at your budget and playing that finance game where it's like, okay, how can I make more of this? How can I improve my financial lot here? If you're into investing in any way, shape or form, the fifth house is a house of speculation. So I would say this is a time to buy that lotto ticket, to put that money on the horses or whatever the case might be that you might like to do. Obviously, don't put the house, the car and the wife and kids on the roulette table, unless you want to get rid of them. That was dark. But you kind of catch my drift, right? You can be sensible about it, but it's a great house for speculative endeavors. And then on the on the 11th of January, we've got the annual Capricorn new moon. This is at 20 degrees and it happens in that fifth house. Newfound ways of having pleasure, romance, fun, creativity. The fifth house is also children as well. So you could be gaining a lot of enjoyment from your children from, you know, the 23rd onwards. And, you know, you might be setting new courses in life for your children as well. So that could be coming through. As if that wasn't enough, for this you have The Gate 22 and Grace. Look at this, right? So if you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitment, you and your significant other are not only playing nicely, but you're playing nicely, right? This card actually represents soulmates. So you and your significant other could just be really in that zone where it's fun, it's flirty, it's romantic. You're taking the absolute piss out of each other and loving every second of it. You're having lots of laughter, lots of giggles, and realizing that this really is your person. You don't need or want anybody else, right? And then for those of you that are single, I don't say this lightly, but this is a soulmate card. So it's very possible that you could connect with or meet somebody over the course of this, you know, as a result of this new moon, over the course of the next 6 months, that really ends up becoming genuinely something quite special to you. On the 25th of the month, we will have the annual Leo full moon. Now, this is a full moon in your 12th house. This is quite a deep space of the chart, and it could be highlighting to you what your self-sabotaging tendencies are. It could also highlight to you where you could derive pleasure from the spirit realm, or it could bring you some kind of powerful realization or reorganization of your past. This could see you really illuminate some element of your previous life or your past life in this lifetime, right? It can really help you see the past in a much more beautiful way. And for this, you have... Yeah, okay, right? So you've got the Gate 39 and Provocation. And the message behind this card is someone around this full moon, as a result of this full moon, someone's going to say something to you that's absolutely going to piss you off, right? Remember, full moons at times are when, and this is at 5 degrees, this full moon, 5 degrees of Leo. Remember, the full moon is a time where you're, where all of our emotions are that much more heightened and to the surface. Someone's going to say something to you that will really piss you off, right? To the point where you kind of look at a situation and you say, right, I'm going to do something about this. That's what this card represents. It's not just the provocation, it's the push that you need, the impetus that comes from outside to say, okay, I'm going to make a shift or a change here. Now, if you love the way that I do astrology, if you love the Astro Tarotscopes, you can get a personal one-to-one session with me. It's 75 minutes long. We dig around into your chart and then we get into the transits that are coming up that you need to look at in the short term. If you want to get one of those for yourself, you can do that on the link in the description box below. I would love to see you. I'd love to get in and dig around in it with you. Anyway, with that said, let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments. With that, have a wonderful January 2024. Take care, and I'll see you soon.